Hello traders and welcome to another trading setups breakdown video. I'm super grateful to have you here and I really hope you're gonna extract a lot, because in this video I'm gonna show you all the trades that I took this week, everything with top-down analysis as well, and with a summary of my favorite pair, EURUSD, which is pretty much what I traded the whole week. This is my main pair. It's the pair that I'm mostly focused on, and on the side I also look at GU and AU, but GU is a bit too volatile for me, so I don't trade it much, and right now I'm shifting my attention to AU as well. Some guys from the Fanatic team are already trading a lot of AU, and we're having different mentors and different people, traders, that are actually specialized in different pairs, right? We have masters on GU, masters on GJ, masters on GU. So definitely there are setups being thrown all around the day, and we also just included live sessions during the day, potentially during London and beginning of New York. So pretty excited. But yes, EU this week for me was not very nice. Like, we had some great movements, and still let's be grateful because I'm finishing on profit. But yeah, it could have been better setups could have been presented, so definitely looking forward for next week as well, and already next month, because Q4 is incoming and I'm totally excited for this one because big things are gonna happen. We're also focused on updating the whole program, because you know, within the program there are 3 courses, community access, one-on-one sessions, and I'm really trying to refine everything more, make it more systematic, more easy, more cohesive, and we are having some brand new content incoming in the community, so I'm really focused on that, hence why I'm not posting really educational videos on YouTube as well, right? But of course, if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share a weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I share either a trading setups breakdown video or an educational piece of content. So make sure you are subscribed in order not to miss those videos, and if you already are, what are we waiting for? Let's jump onto the analysis. Alright, as always, I'm gonna stop with a little top-down analysis just to get a feeling of where we are and what we could potentially expect, right? So basically, if you remember, if you are watching the weekly outlook and setups, and I do think if you're here, you're probably watching them, we had this inside bar, which is on the previous week, and what I told you is that I do expect a break below that low. Not to say this one, because this one is the inside bar. I expect a breakout of the mother candle, and basically what we did is we started with a little pullback to the upside. Basically we had some bullishness, and then we just launched to the downside, breaking below this low, and what you can see right now is that we are rejecting a little bit from the downside. Currently, as I keep telling you, we are in a very tricky situation on EU, and I'm gonna show you why. Because again, on the daily time frame, we had this push, pullback, lower high, lower low, then we had this massive pump up that kind of didn't really break structure up. We just spiked a little bit above it, because if you look at, I don't have the values right there of open, high, low, and close, but basically this wick went by a couple of pipettes above this one right here. So basically we had a break or a fake, whatever it is. But more or less my analysis was to see a 50% pullback of that push and to see the market actually come inside this little area right there. And we are actually exactly doing this right now. And how did we came with a massive bearish engulfing candle. So basically today the overall bias was long, and I took a long, but it was a break even. So we're going to break this down as well. And yeah, pretty much as you can see, since the open, like, we spiked into that area, we returned. Then Tuesday we opened, we pushed up, we returned. Wednesday, nothing pretty much, and then Thursday all of a sudden it just decided to plummet to the downside without any sign. And Thursday, no trades that I saw, I believe. I think, no, I actually had a little loss. I tried to take a long as the market was pushing down right there. But yeah, you can see nothing too trending, not very nice bullish candles, or not a nice push and a pullback. So definitely it was a tough week for EU. My drawing again disappeared. But yes, basically, if you have a look again on the 4-hourly, we are coming from this little range right here that was tapped by this one. Then we had a massive pump down. Basically, this is your break of structure. This is a creation of a new lower low. Okay, and this one is major. Okay, this one nicely pushed down, created a major lower low. So where is our major lower high? It's right here. We can take the whole candle. We can take just as a zone like this. Let's maybe make it like this, 4H supply like that. And yes, basically what the market did is on Monday, we actually created that low, and then we started initiating the pullback. So longs could have been taken on Monday, but there weren't any clear setups. And guys, I'm very strict with my rules. If my rules are not met, I just don't trade. And sometimes I miss out on some moves that were not really according to the rules, but I don't care. right? So basically we pushed into the highs very nicely, rejected, then we pulled back, lower high again, pushed down, we failed to break. So if I jump on the hourly right now, exactly this piece of price action right here was pretty tricky, because if you have a look, like we had a push down that made a lower low, cool, then we had a massive push up that made a higher high, and then if you spot where is your higher low, it's right here. Okay, so this I can just make it for each demand in a different color, and as you can see, like pushed up, we went all the way down and we never broke below it. And I was like, okay, on that day I was actually looking for longs, and what I wanted to see is the market to pull back inside this area right here, and this is basically my profitable trade for this week. Okay, and then we simply created a lower high right there. I tried to sell, but I bailed out on that sale because I got scared and I closed it at profit and then it hit TP. So that was a really great lesson for me. And yes, then we went on to the lows, and then actually the market closed just for Thursday to open. And as you can see, like 6, this is Asian session close right there. Then we just started to plummet down. Okay, and today we're overall having a nice pullback. So to be honest, it's not entirely bad. Like we started right here, we pushed into the highs, we consolidated, right now pushing to the lows, and right now we're pulling back. So I think it's actually a pretty good price delivery, which we usually have, like a heartbeat, consolidation, up, down, return back. Okay, but yes, I think we should also right now drop to have a look at the entries, and hopefully I'm actually gonna give you more context about how I actually executed on them. So basically on Monday I did not trade, so I'm going straight through on Tuesday. So basically if I maybe drop to the 15-minute, what happened on Monday is we created kind of this lower high. So there was a potential short right here, and if I just go and examine it on the 1-minute, there were some people that took the short because again we created this low, but then we start shifting, and then as you can see, if you are watching my Instagram post, we were having this big flat lows right there, so it's pretty stracked, kind of compressed, it's really sloppy or this sort of thing. So we had a push into the highs, which is basically that 15-minute lower high that I showed you right there. And then what happens is if we simply zoom in on the 1-minute, and if we start following market structure, we're having this pullback that created a higher low formation. We also respected this little guy right there. We pumped into the highs to create a higher high. So where then is your major higher low? It's right here, this one. This one broke, which is a violation of structure. And basically then I had some members from the community that just waited for the pullback, executed a short trade from here and rode it all the way down. Okay, and that was actually a beautiful trade because we also created these little flat lows right there that had to be broken, and we basically went even deeper into that area. So that is actually Monday's trade. That was pretty lovely. So just to break that down, to give you even more context about how we're about to go into the week. And then after this, we potentially expect the market to pull back. Where to? Into right here. Okay, so even if I drop on the hourly time frame, there was a precise hourly level that I was looking at. Yeah, there it is, this one. So let's drop it like this. Let's make it 1H like that. So this is where I was looking for the market to come in, and we came exactly right there. So the plan was to take longs all the way up there. Okay, so let's see how we actually developed right here. And this was my miss. Yeah, I had a miss. I'm also gonna show, it doesn't make sense to show you a limit order, but just to prove that I had an order there, because that was a monster move right here. But basically, yes, we had not a very nice Asian range, I think, on this one, just to plot it in. Yeah, so we had a kind of the market range, we pushed it, we pulled back, and basically the Asian highs and lows were not manipulated, but we simply pulled back to create a new higher low, and then we impulsed into the highs. But if I jump in right now to actually examine what happened there was no entry. Then we just kissed right here the 4H demand supply, and we tapped into a very little guy right there, which is possibly going to be seen on the lower time frames. Okay, so we tapped inside, and this is where I wanted to look for shorts, but again, I do not trade at that time. So basically we tapped inside right here, and if I show you what the time is, this is the dead hour. So the dead hour starts from 11 right here and goes all the way to 1. But as you can see, sometimes when the market has actually reached a very strong level, those timings are actually pretty good. So this is another lesson for me this week. If you see the setup, strike. It doesn't matter what the time is or whatever happens, just strike on it. And basically, if I explain to you why that trade would have been taken, well, simply again, we tapped into that area, we tapped into the 4 hour as well, maybe just by a little. Find your major higher low, where it is, right here. There it is. So we basically found a little bit support, But after the support was found, we should have created a new high. We failed to create a new high. We pull back again, forming a double bottom. Cool. If we're forming a double bottom, let's reverse. No reverse. Okay. And then what we did is just blew through that level, which was an absolutely great confirmation. I had also a lot of members taking this trade, and that would have been taken from here. Stop loss above 2 pips. And oops, this is the wrong 2. There is the 2. Entry right there. Stop loss 2 pips. And then where do you write it? Well, basically, I would have taken my profits down there because this is where the buy was initiated in the morning. So I really wouldn't expect the market to go deeper than that. So that would have been a lovely 6-hour trade. And again, you can see opportunities were provided. But of course, if you're not there or if something doesn't fit your plan, you do not strike. What happens later is I'm just going to stay on the wire right now. We put a new low, okay, and this is when I start trading, 1300 right here. This is when I start trading, and I can see that we really dip deeper, okay. All of this right here, all of that trend line, people looking at trend lines, basically right here, first tap, second tap, there is the tap. We break retest, so everybody's looking for shorts. The market pushes lower, and I'm like, cool, well, the market cannot just continue to drop so further, and I was still looking for the market to get a little bit deeper into that zone. So what I also observed is, again, guys, if you don't understand market structure, we teach all of that, but market structure isn't the foundation, okay? And I keep showing you as well, where is your lower high? Brush, there is your lower high, okay? That's the major one, that's the one that broke structure. You can even take this one, because this one also push, pullback, lower high, lower low, then we broke this. But if you wanna take like a clear and a major one, there it is, okay? So after that point, I started looking for longs, and I wanted to take a long from right here. Stop ups below, and then just write it into that full hourly OB right here. But then what we had is the market failed to tap inside right here, pushed up, created, looks like a lower high. So I was like, cool, let's see if we're gonna actually push lower, but we didn't. So what we did is we broke structure up. So again, market structure, higher high. And then what I did is I think I didn't follow much of my rules right here, because usually I would take like this whole range, and I'm gonna try to enter somewhere right here. But what I did is I was like, cool, I'm gonna try to enter where exactly the higher low is, because then I was also seeing this one that looks like a major higher low. And I was like, okay, well, if this one taps, then gets me stopped out, I'm gonna enter for the lower one. So I set my limit right here. And I wanna show you that I actually set it up. And I'm showing you because I'm really pissed, because this one just missed me by 0.5 pips. And then we just exploded to the upsides. And that would have been, I don't know. Yeah, my quickest 10-hour or 9-hour, probably. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this was my missed trade on Tuesday. And then simply, while I did not take a reversal right here, could have taken it again, because if we see that like we have this for me was the major higher low right here. This is why I didn't take it, because we had a push, pullback. This is not a major higher low because it doesn't break structure above. Okay, so we basically created this little flat formation, and then we actually started changing. But this is more or less like a minor structure for me. Then we actually tap inside, react from it, fail, and then after this break, this is when I actually am interested for higher probability shorts, but the market never pulled back to give me a re-entry and to create a lower high, and just ended up going down. Okay, so that was Tuesday for me. Missed trade from right here, and this one was not executed because it was not in my time frame. But again, I took a great lesson from it, that if you see something, you should trade. Okay, then going on to the 16th of September, or is it 16th? No, I was just covering Tuesday, so I need 15th. Yeah, there we go. So yes, basically this is when we had this high created and the market pushed down. And what I want to bring to your attention is that this low right here was never broken by a candle. Okay, so I was like, okay, if this doesn't break, then I think this high is even gonna get taken. So that was another thing that I was even thinking, to hold to hold into the highs right here. But again, Tuesday usually creates the weekly high, and this is a New York session, so that was the high that was created on Tuesday. And then since that high, we can expect the low that was created, as you can see, all the way to Friday. Okay, so pretty much as I told you, we had that start of price, we had the push up, push down, and right now we're potentially going to retrace and end up the week like this. Okay, well, what was my thought process again? If I show you the Asian range on Tuesday, on Wednesday it was pretty nice. We had this overall consolidation, And also this low, that low, these flat lows, everything. Okay, so what I expected is to have a fake below those lows. Okay, so that was my plan, and that plan actually came to fruition, which I'm pretty happy with. Dropping on the 1 minute, what we can see is again simple market structure. Let's see. Yep. So basically this is pretty much the choppiness right here. When you see EU doing like this, it's definitely cooking for something, so you wait for it. Okay, then we have a push to the downside. Maybe it triggers a lot of sellers, and then what we have is we have to find where is our major lower high. Okay, it's this one right here. This is our major lower high. Why? Because it made the lower low, and as you can see, we just tap inside, we react from it, and then we break structure. So we broke this highest point, which is also a 5-minute structure. So if I go on the 5 minute, maybe just to give you a little bit more context as well, you can see that this was the highest point that we had before the creation of this lower low. And we got a body close above it. And if you studied my free course, for me, a body close is a very significant close and definitely signifies broken structure and a potential change of trend. Okay. Then what I saw is the market coup that I want to enter longs. So where do I find my zone? Well, for me, that was a zone. And also I had an order right here. But this one did not trigger. And yeah, basically what we had is the market pushed to create a new higher high, but it just wicked. So there were not enough orders to push the market down. And I was seeing that it was starting to flatten right there. And usually when you see this kind of flat price action is going to get taken. So I spotted this demand, and then I just waited for that manipulation down, and there it is, bang. So I executed my trade from right there. Stop loss was 2.2 pips. And then I was just observing. Again, if I go on the seconds, now which I'm not going to do, there is structure. Where did that thing go right now? I always forget where this one is brushed. We have structure right here. So this little guy right here, this is a lower high formation, because you can see from here, we had a push and we created a lower low. Okay. And then simply what we did is we broke that structure to create a new higher high. And then what I actually said to my team, for those that didn't enter, I said, I expect the market to pull back to create a higher low and then to potentially jump up. Okay, so I was actually thinking of placing a re-entry or just scale in, but I was like, cool, I just got in right here. Usually when I place a scale in, I would love for it to be maybe at the higher portion so that I have at least my first trade secured, so that I don't over risk. Because if this got tapped and then hit stop loss, then I have 2 stop losses. Okay, and I have double risk. Okay, and yes, then simply the market just exploded up very nicely, and my TP was taken at a 1 hourly level, which I'm going to show you where it is right now. Come on. Where are you? 1 hourly level. There it is, this one. So this indecision candle, this is what I was targeting. And this is also where I wanted to take a short from. Okay. So I also spotted later this little long. So right here, we could have had a scale in right here, push, pullback, higher low formation, scale in right here, just until the supply. But then as we tapped, we started to flatten. So I was sure that this market is not yet ready to reverse. So we just flattened out right here. And what we did is we just went to retest the major higher low. Why is this a major higher low? Because it's the one that actually created a higher high. And if you drop to a higher time frame than the 1 minute, you're going to see it more as major. Maybe let's try the 3 minute. Where did it go? Yeah, you can see that we have a pullback right there, a clear pullback, a push, and then all of that is just wicks. So all of that is minor structure. Okay. So that is actually another long that could have been taken, which was lovely. But then after I spotted that the market failed to recognize that level at all, I deleted it. And I went on to find where could potentially the market react from. Okay. And I find the level right here. So if I actually show you why, there was a little pause right there, pause of price. It was exactly this one right here. So we have this, and that little bullish candle creates a pause. Basically, this is the concept of drop, base, drop. And then as you can see, if I just play a little bit price, the market never perfectly retested that level. So for me, this was also some sort of flat price action right there. And I did expect the market to actually tap inside this area. So I think I plotted a level like this. And then if we go to the price action right now, let's see, there it is, where we actually took the trade from. We can see that the market perfectly tapped inside this area after the creation of all of those flat highs right here. And then what your guy does is cool. So let's see, where is my major high low? Well, I considered it. So this is the thing. This is why I doubted a lot on this trade. is because this for me was the clear higher low formation, not this one. So I actually had this one marked right here, this little push, pullback, higher low, higher high. The market fails to make a new higher high right here. So we created a lower high, push down, broke this little guy, but we respected that one. And I was like, oh man, this is still bullish. I don't want to take a short. But what I ended up doing is I took a short and I felt that I'm stepping away from my plan. So what I did is I saw the market did not respond immediately from my entry. It stopped chopping around, push up, push down, push up. And then as it started pushing down, I closed my trade right here. And you're going to see that on my stats. This is like 10. And exactly when I closed, the market pushed down, rejected. And I'm like, oh man, like if now right now it flushes, I'm just going to kill myself. And guess what? It flushed. And what was my target? It was this big level right here. There is a target. And yeah, I just missed on a 5-hour trade right here, and I actually took a loss. So that was a great mistake, but a very good lesson. And still, I banked 5-hour right there, lost 0.5 hour right there. So pretty much 4.5 hour for the day. And then again, I was still looking for the shorts, but I did not recognize this as a trading setup because again, I was actually looking for a long right here, but I doubted on this one because it wasn't really clear. Then the market pushed up, pull back, higher low, higher high, higher low, still maintaining. Then there is the shift, there is the break. So then what I did is I set an entry right here, but the market never tapped me in and just continued to go down. Okay, so that is the 15th of September, finishing with a 4.5 R, and it could have been much better. Then going on to this day, like that day was pretty tricky right there because basically, let me maybe try to delete some of that stuff, not to be very noisy. We had a strange Asian range, like it just consolidated at the top right there. Then even during Asia, we started to drop lower and then we just consolidated and we pushed down again. And I think I was actually looking at this wick right here because wicks are very nice. So there is always something within wicks. This is where potentially we see the big banks also entering their orders. And I was looking that the market was actually tapping into that wick. We're also having the Asian low manipulation. And I was expecting the market to maybe push me into the highs, into the Asian highs, and maybe just to take my profits right there without being really greedy. Okay. So what I did is I dropped to the 1 minute. And this is not a setup at all, actually. Yeah, I think I was actually, yeah, I don't want to say this, but yeah, I wasn't at my trading station at that time. So I took it from the phone. It wasn't really serious. But then again, what I spotted is I just simply follow structure, push, pullback, lower high, lower low, higher high, break of structure. First retest, held, and then I zoomed in a little bit more and I tried to see if the market is actually breaking other structure. And if you imagine how the second time frame is going to look like, this is a break. So what I did is on the pullback, I executed my trade from right here. Okay, stop loss was below, that is 3 pips. So not, 3 pips is pretty nice. Pushed up, pushed down, pushed up. And after this push up, I moved my stop loss below this wick and then I got stopped out right there for a reduced loss. And yeah, then the market just decided to melt without a stop. And basically it was melting all day. And there were some potential shorts to be taken right here, but nothing that I liked. So I did not trade for the remaining of the day. And this is basically my Thursday, just one loss. And going finally on to Friday. I'm not covering every single detail because it's gonna take a lot of time. Like we host 1 hour and 30 minutes webinars to actually break everything in complete detail. But basically today, what I found out is that Asian session was pretty much trending. And what I also found out is that if this was my major lower high on the 15 minute, the market tapped it, failed to break it, then we should have created a new lower low. Okay, we didn't. And what we started doing is we started shifting from the downside. We had a push, we had a pullback, higher low, and then we had a higher high. So what I told my team in the morning, I am bullish. I'm going to be looking for longs on EU. So yeah, guess what? I had this massive pump into the highs right here this morning. Then we had the market failing to break structure. Then we actually broke the structure. So what I did is I set an entry right here. But the market never pulled back, then went all the way down. So where did it go? Well, potentially to retest some of those levels right here, some of those demand levels, okay? And then what I spotted is that the market really sharply recovered from that level. So I was like, okay, I want to take a long right now. So then I was planning to take a long from here, which did not trigger me. But then what I observed is that the market actually broke structure up and started reacting from that level where I wanted to take a short. But it was already too late because the market was right now coming from a demand and we're overall in an uptrend, and I do not want to look for shorts, remember? So I did not take a short from here. And then what I did is I tried to find out a potential level where I can take a long. So there is my level and there is basically my trade right here. It was also combined with this beautiful sell before a big buy. This is a concept that we utilize. And I took it from right here. Stop loss was 2.6 pips. The market gave me a very strong very weak reaction, which is why I didn't like it. And as soon as I spotted that the market is rejecting this level, I thought that we're potentially going to go for a lower low. And I went break even and I got stopped at break even at this trade. Okay. And as you can see, currently the market is absolutely doing nothing. During this analysis, we could have taken a short because the market made a high, then it broke the low, then it pulled back, lower high, lower low, lower high right here as well. So possibly could have been taken a short from right here. But of course, I'm going to look at the market right now and see what we could potentially do. Okay. So as you can see, finishing the week with an overall, I don't know, maybe 4R or something. And with commissions, it's even less. And in terms of percentages, it's even less. Yeah, this is how I'm going to wrap up this video. Really hope you actually found some value from it. Let me know, please, down in the comments if you want me to add something more or maybe keep it shorter or maybe, yeah, I don't know if you have any ideas. So hopefully you got it you found it valuable. Make sure to stay tuned for tomorrow for the weekly outlook and setups where I'm going to solely focus on analysis. I wish you an amazing weekend, guys, and talk to you soon.